Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Blueprint. I'm Courtney Cook, founder of Monarch COO, where I help mission-driven entrepreneurs grow their businesses. Each week, I sit down with inspiring entrepreneurs to explore the stories behind their successes and challenges. Whether you're just dreaming of starting a business or already building one, this podcast is here to show you that entrepreneurship is more attainable than it might seem, with insights for every stage of the journey. Let's dive in to today's conversation and see what it takes to build a business. Today on the podcast, I have Mandy Morris with me. Mandy, will you kick us off by sharing about your business? What do you do? Who do you serve? And how long have you been a business owner?
Hi, Courtney. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to have this conversation. And yeah, a little bit about me. So I've been a mental health therapist since 2012. I've been in private practice since 2014. I am also an EMDR clinician, which is a specific type of trauma therapy that I do. And um, over the course of the last few years, I've really branched out more into the executive space.
Okay.
So I use my background to help executives and leaders look at their blind spots, look at what's going on more in a unconscious level that is driving their outcomes and how to overcome that. So I've been doing executive psychology for the last 5 or 6 years now. And my heart is working with high achievers who look like they have it all together on the outside, but on the inside are barely holding it together from the
Yeah.
pressure of everything, the anxiety, the stress, the panic, and help their inner world more aligned with their outer world. And in addition to that, I am co-founder and chief of mental health sciences of So Free, which is a neuroscience-based app that will reset your nervous system in under 2 minutes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So how'd you find this need with just the executive space of these executives? Like what happened in the timeline of things that
Yeah.
started this?
So in my career, I mean, I work with people of all walks of life, all backgrounds
Yeah.
and industries. And I started working more and more with business owners and entrepreneurs and leaders and executives. And the more they mentally, emotionally, psychologically worked through some of their own things, wouldn't you know, the more their businesses grew.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed working with people like this, and it's a way for me to use my skill set in a different kind of way. And probably too, because I relate a lot to these individuals being an entrepreneur myself.
Yeah.
And there's a whole different world of pressures and psychological stressors that happen and things that are just different when you are operating as an entrepreneur, a leader, an executive. And so it just kind of naturally came to me from the work I was already doing, and more or less was encouraged to get into the executive coaching space, which is different from therapy.
Mhm.
But my background allows me to look at things in a different way in order to help my clients get the outcomes that they want for themselves in their business.
Yeah, yeah. So what inspired you to have your own private practice? What happened to kind of get you to that point?
It's a great question. So after grad school, I stayed on with where I interned at and met some other colleagues there who I became friends with. And the place that we're working at just really, it got to a point where it wasn't in alignment with our own values and the way that we felt like a therapy practice should be run in terms of how they operate and how they handle clients, things like that. And so from having the great experience of seeing a lot of things that I do like, but then also having the experience
Mhm.
of seeing things that I don't like and how a practice is run, me and a few others who teamed up, we were like, let's start our own thing. And
Cool.
so we put a lot of time and effort into, building the practice and finding the right space. I mean, even stuff like finding a building that looked like a home and not a medical
Mm.
office, and that was
Oh,
warm and inviting I mean, down to small details that make a big difference in people's outcomes was really important to us. And so,
Mm-hmm.
The stars aligned, and we started the Mosaic Counseling Group in 2014.
Wow, that's really cool. Did you have people on the team that were more business savvy than others, or did you kind of all find who's going to do what to get this started, or how did that happen?
Sure. So the team was myself, so a new therapist,
Yeah.
with another woman who was maybe a year or two ahead of me
Mm-hmm.
in becoming a therapist, and she also specialized in some trauma. And then we had a woman who has had her own practice for decades. She was a
Okay.
registered play therapist, and so she knew a lot about the business side of things for sure.
Yeah.
And then we had this other guy who did co-parenting and animal assisted therapy, and he was more like, let's keep everything organized and structured. And so everyone served their role in it, and it
Nice.
became this beautiful team of people who really wanted to make a big difference and had some goals and as to how we really wanted that to happen.
Yeah. So is that practice still going today? And you're working in it?
So it's the practice is now me.
Okay,
So
got it.
one of them had to move, the other one got married. This
Nice.
was forever ago.
Yeah.
And since then I've grown in my own entrepreneur
Nice.
journey. But we keep in touch when we can. They're all
Mm-hmm.
wonderful people, and still, I think most of them are all still doing therapy to some capacity, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, 15 years is a long time and a lot happens in everybody's life in that
yeah.
time frame. So not surprising at all. And so now do you really frame yourself and your practice as just that executive coaching and therapy, or do you have a broader gamut than that?
Yeah. So I more or less see myself as the person to help people get unstuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am really what I'm really known for is the ability to help people pass that point
Mm-hmm.
and grow into either the person they're trying to become or the business that they're trying to grow. And I can't tell you how many people will say the same thing keeps happening over and over. I can't just seem to get past whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
And that's my specialty, whether that ends up
Nice.
being therapy related or ends up being more in business and in leadership and in coaching. I
Cool.
am the person to help you get unstuck.
Cool. That's awesome. So tell me more about So Free. What's going on there and how did you get that started?
Sure. So years ago, I was on a run one day, and when I run, that's my time to think. It's where I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of creative thoughts, and I would go back and I write my thoughts in my little creative journal, and then typically I wouldn't do much with it.
Yeah.
And so one of my friends kind of gave me a swift kick in the butt, saying that you should do something with these thoughts.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was on a run, and in EMDR, which is a specific type of therapy that I do, there is a technique called bilateral stimulation. Bilateral just means left and right side of the body. Walking is bilateral. Parents who sway their child back and forth, that's bilateral.
Okay.
When you go to the doctor's office, if you put your arms or legs over your midline, they make you uncross it because it shows a drop in your heart rate, which is bad for a good heart reading. It's
Mm-hmm.
great for anxiety and stress. So one of the things we do, if you were to come in my office, you would hold these little paddles, and they would just pulse back and forth, left or right, while we're working through something difficult. And what that does is it pulls you out of a stress response, so that, in that type of therapy, we can help rewire the mind, work through your trauma, settle the brain, things like
Interesting.
that. But when you do it, use it just in and of itself, not to process or work through anything. It just helps you calm down. And one of the techniques that I use with my clients a lot, which is a silly name for it, I know, but it's called the butterfly hug. And literally
Okay.
all you do is tap the left and right side of your body like this. And if you do this for about 10, 20, 30 seconds, you will feel your heart rate drop. It's pretty amazing.
Hmm.
So I was like, why have
Interesting.
we not combined this with our technology? Yeah, just like
Yeah.
that. And it's great. Yeah. If you have kids too, show them that, because it'll calm
Okay.
them down.
I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I was like, why have we not combined this with our technology? And
Yeah.
I had this idea that, you know, what if people could have a stress relief solution at their fingertips? Stress is the number one killer in our world, and our world isn't getting any less stressful.
Yeah.
How better to have a solution in your pocket that you can use anytime, anywhere. And things like meditation and these breathing techniques and all of that, I think, are crucial practices to have. I think they're wonderful. I do them myself, and they're not always practical in a moment
Mm-hmm.
of high stress or panic or can't focus or things like that. I mean, how many times do we have all these, quote unquote tools or coping skills, and then they totally goes out the window,
Yeah.
and we forget what we know we need to do in those moments because we're so
Mm-hmm.
stressed. Well, what SoFree does is it uses bilateral stimulation through audio tones in your from putting your headphones on. Through sight, there's a little ball that you'll track that goes left and right on your phone. And then there's vibrations. There's vibrations that go from the side of your body where you're holding your phone to the side of the body that your watch is on. And so anytime,
Oh.
anywhere, you can access this bilateral stimulation, and it will do it for you. You don't have to think about it. You can use all three modes at once. You can pick your favorites, whatever works best for you. And our goal is to change people's relationship to stress. We are never not going to have stressful times in our life or experience stress, but it doesn't have to be the thing that runs the show in our life, because we do so many things out of stress that we wish we hadn't done, or affects our health in so many ways because we don't have a regulated nervous system. And so we see this product, as being something much bigger than just an app. We see it as relief and longevity for people.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. How long has the app been live?
So it's in beta testing right
It's in
now.
beta. Oh,
It's in beta
cool.
testing. So if people want early access to it and be a part of making it great for us,
Yeah.
anyone can sign up at getsofree.com
Okay.
and be a part of the testing. We have a few hundred users already that we've been testing it with. We've been getting feedback, refining it, things like that. We hope to have it in the App Store by end of November, but
Oh,
right
cool.
now we're still testing it. So
Yeah. Well, that still feels soon. I mean, it's like literally around the corner.
it is.
So,
It is.
oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
so fascinating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to try this.
Yeah.
So you have a co-founder you mentioned, right?
Hmm.
What's their role in SoFree?
So the co-founder of SoFree is my brother.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, he's the CTO. I had the idea and he made it come to life. And
Oh my
I brought
gosh.
this idea to him a few years back, and we had started the process. Life happens, things get
Mm-hmm.
busy, and we had kind of tabled it. And then on Thanksgiving Day of 2022, we unexpectedly lost our oldest brother. And
Mm.
that devastation and tragedy really is the thing that made us come together to launch the app. We were like,
Wow.
if for nothing else, we need this for ourselves,
Yeah.
and hope that we can grow it into helping other people. So that was the catalyst. We know our brother would be proud of it, but that's the catalyst that
Yeah.
that brought it all together, and he has just done an amazing job of bringing this to life and making it great. So yeah, my
That's
it's a
incredible.
sibling team.
Sibling. Oh, that's so cool. What's it been like to work with your brother? Is it what you expected or no?
Well, we're still talking to each other, so that's good.
Yes, you're still working together.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And I'm very grateful because he's had lots of experience in launching products
Oh,
before,
cool.
and creating this technology. I mean, that's what he does for a living. And he
Nice.
there are the normal sibling sort of maybe misunderstandings or
Yeah.
differences, but it's
Which is
been
good.
great. And we have a CEO. His
Nice.
name is Jason, and he is really the catalyst that's helping propel us forward. And another developer who has
Cool.
been putting in his time because he believes in what we're trying to do. And so, until we get funding, it's just
Yeah.
been the four of us making it happen. And it's been a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Oh my gosh, so cool. So you have people that believe in it that are helping you push this forward, and then hopefully come November, you'll be putting some dollars to it eventually.
Yeah.
Will it be paid to a certain, like, based on usage, or how will that roll out?
So initially we just want users.
Yeah.
So once we get it into the App Store, this, and even when it's in the App Store, it'll be an open beta. So
Mhm.
we want people using it, testing it. We'll continue to refine it.
Cool.
And at some point there will be a subscription to it. But right now, we just want to get it in people's
Yeah.
hands.
Awesome. That's exciting. Okay, so let's jump into just kind of your history as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What has been one of the most unexpected challenges in your entrepreneurial journey?
There's been so many challenges, I would say. I think the one thing that when I reflect, I literally was just saying this to someone the other day. I think as an entrepreneur, every year you think, am I going to make it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to make it? And I'm like, I just turned 40 and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 26. And every year I'm like, am I going to make it? I think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to be okay. And I think that the challenge is the uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
Is what am I going to do when business dips, and then when it goes up again, and then it dips again. And I think a lot of it comes from learning, one, to trust yourself,
Mm-hmm.
trust that you know what you do, and for the things that you don't know how to do, to really pull on your resources and get support.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurship can be a really lonely journey, and you have to deal with your own internal pressures in the day-to-day. I have to deal with my own internal pressures in the day-to-day.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not solid in my own self-care and boundaries around my time and energy, and in having people that I trust, who I know support me and love me, to talk things through, to connect me to someone who knows more about that part of business than I do, like having all of that in place is crucial to becoming a good entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And so in short, I believe the biggest challenge is uncertainty.
Yeah. I was really hoping you weren't going to say that there's still questions about, am I going to make it or not? That is, like, for me, the big one of, like, oh, can I get through? Am I going to survive next year? Am I going to survive? I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
scary.
Well, and I think it's flipping the script on that, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and this is the therapist in me coming out now,
Yeah.
is that our mind is going to find evidence for what we think and what we believe, no matter what.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if you believe you're financially not going to make it, you're going to financially struggle. And if you
Right.
believe that it's going to be hard versus like an amazing opportunity for growth, then you're going to experience it in whichever way you look at it, because our brain is wired to find evidence for what we think and what we believe.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm going to make it just like any other year.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's going to be abundance more than ever, and getting out of that scarcity mindset and into a knowing that I know how to make things happen, and I know how to grow, and I know how to be resilient, and I know how to get through challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And transitioning from fear-based thinking to more love and compassionate based thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, it always works out. It always does. It's always like, oh, the timing is impeccable every single time as well, that it's like, wow, that is amazing how it
Yeah.
just all fell into place exactly when it needed to. But it is always like, if I could just look around the corner and know what's going to happen in 6
For
months, it
sure.
would be nice. But we just don't have
For
that
sure.
luxury.
For sure. And that's where I think the reframe is, this is the best adventure of my life.
Yeah. Yes.
Because if you knew what was around the corner, that's not fun.
No, it isn't. Yeah.
It takes
it's
away
so
the adventure.
True.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean,
yeah.
it's like, I mean, I had some wonderful advice from a colleague and friend when, even just building this app, So Free.
Mm-hmm.
And, we are weekend warriors and evening workers when it comes to the app right now. We all have jobs, but yet we're trying to make this happen. And I was, I think, venting or complaining about, like, oh, if we could just get funding or whatever it may be. And And my buddy was like, you really got to reframe that to, this is the best hobby you have ever had. I'm like, oh, that's right. So when I wake up and I think about it, I'm not thinking about the fact that that's another job or thing to do. It's like, this is the greatest hobby in the world.
Yeah.
And just that one shift in the way we think about things shifts the way our nervous system responds to things, shifts the way you show up, shifts everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So with just your career in general, has there been a moment when you were like, okay, I guess when you started your private practice, was there a moment when you guys were all like, this is going to work and this is going to be a better practice than we've ever been a part of? Was there this aha moment that has really struck you?
Sure. That's a great question. So I'll give some context to answer that. When we left the place we were at and moved into our own building for our own practice, when it comes to therapy, we can't ask people to come with us. Ethically, you can't do that. You have to give them options, and you can be one of those options, but the rule of thumb is, here's 2 other places that you can go, or you can come here and stay with us, so that they can choose, because distance, all the things, and you don't want people to feel like they have to stay with you if they don't want to. And so, I mean, it was a huge risk. And at the time, and no one would have known this at the time, I was in the midst of my marriage falling apart, about to go through a divorce. I was the only one with the income, and taking this huge jump into my own practice was, when I say it was scary, that doesn't even scratch the surface of how it felt. But within my own integrity, I knew I couldn't stay at that other place because I didn't agree with it. And I felt like, I'm going to take a step of faith here. And I, in my heart, I feel like this is the right thing to do. And, and for as much that we could control, we tried to control, getting the word out ahead of time, things like that. But still, there's no guarantees. And then the people just started coming. And since 2014, when it comes to my therapy practice, we haven't had to do an ounce of marketing.
Wow.
It's all been word of mouth.
That's amazing.
And so and when we started to realize that, I mean, and it took some time, because each month just like, okay, well, we got enough clients this month. Are we going to get enough clients that month? And so on. And then it just was like, we were lucky to have built such a great reputation in the community that when you start seeing people who all live on the same street of the neighborhood, that the business is going to be okay. Because
it just grow. That so I mean, growing.
Yeah. So it's eventually. I think it was just the switch to, okay, we're not in survival, and it was a mindset that we had to get out of. Is we don't have to operate in panic and in survival and in urgency. It's just now we can just trust that it's working out, and if we hit a roadblock, we have so many connections and people who want to help and can talk us through it. So many people who we called up and talked through the transition. I'm a big believer is that we don't get anywhere without other people. We all need people to help us. And so, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, that does. Yeah. Okay, Mandy. So what were you like as a child? Like, did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Were you out hustling lemonade stands, or has this become a shock to you?
It's so funny. So when I was young, I was tall, lanky kid, especially like elementary school, like big hair out to here, misprescribed, these big red glasses, needed braces, and just kind of an awkward kid. And, I got into sports and competition. So there's always this competitive side to me. But I kind of figured I'd go to school to be an athletic trainer or something like that. That's what I started to go to school for. Looking back, though, I went to a very small school, and we all got senior superlatives our senior year.
Oh, cool.
And I was so pissed when I got my senior superlative, because I got most caring. And I was like, everyone is caring. Like, who?
Like, what?
That's not a superlative. That's just being human, you know? And I was like, that doesn't count. I wanted like best eyes or like something
Yeah.
shallow like that. I don't know. And so uh and so looking back, I think I've always had a heart, and I think most of us do to some degree have a heart for helping other people. But then I was in college, and a couple things happened. One, I started volunteering at this crisis resource center where I got to be like a lay counselor, and I could just kind of sit and help people who were in crisis. And I fell in love with that.
Wow.
And that I ended up wanting to go there more than I did, the courses that I was taking in college. And
Wow.
aside from that, I've always been really into the brain and, how the brain operates and human behavior and things like that. And so that always sparked an interest. And so it really made me reconsider what my career would be.
Mm-hmm.
And the other piece of this is college is also when I found out I had a knack for poker. And I I got really good at Texas Hold'em, and I
Oh
became
my
part of the
gosh.
amateur poker league, and I did it all, and so I kind of started finding that I had these little knacks for things.
It's hilarious.
And so I think my side hustle started on the poker field, but
Nice.
I knew that if I wanted to be a therapist, I'd have to go into grad school,
Mm-hmm.
and I think by just listening to myself, because there's definitely pushback in me switching my majors, and there's pushback in becoming a therapist, and
Yeah.
do you know what that means to take on that sort of education and also that sort of that type of industry and things like
Mm-hmm.
that? And I just kept listening to that voice inside of me that felt like this was a part of what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And from that, things just grew. And I think I never expected to be an entrepreneur. Um, and the more I stay in alignment with what I feel like my purpose is, and how I'm uniquely wired, as long as things get filtered through that, it just keeps growing and evolving and changing. I thought I'd be a therapist and that would be it. I never expected to be an executive coach or be the co-founder of a life-changing app, or or things
Mm-hmm.
like that. But there's all been building blocks along the way.
Yeah.
And there's many times when I thought about pulling the plug. I'm going to go work for someone else. I'm going to get a steady paycheck where I know what that's going to be month to month. But then this part of me is like, I can't. I feel like I would be betraying myself if I do
Yeah.
that. And so you push through,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so thankful. So thankful.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. So, what's one decision you made early on that has had a major impact in your success?
One decision early on. I would say at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, when I was, had my notebook full of ideas, and my friend was like, if you want to do something with this, you need to get online. You need to start
Mm-hmm.
putting your content online. And I was like, oh gosh, people see my writing and what I do. And, that felt
Yeah.
scary. But
Yeah.
I knew if I wanted to do more, if I wanted to help more people, I needed to do that. And that was right before the pandemic happened. And for me, it was the risk in being vulnerable, the
Mm-hmm.
risk of I'm exposed fully as myself when I go online
Yeah.
and present all of this to the world, not knowing what would come from that.
Yeah.
But the courage for me to show up in that way is the thing that has propelled my career in the last 5 years. It's created the opportunities. It's what got me into doing the executive psychology coaching. It's helped me launch, what I'm doing with this app. I've now been on multiple TV things and been on the news to talk about various topics, and the Huffington Post and Newsweek and things like that. Stuff I never would have
That's
thought would have
awesome.
happened
Yeah.
had I not had the courage to do something that for me felt really scary at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super inspirational. I feel that every day of like, it's so hard to put yourself out there. Be willing to kind of, put a stake in to say, this is what I think.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
easy.
Well, and to stay consistent. Because it's
Yes.
not like
Yeah.
those things just happened, right?
Right.
Like I would say I didn't have much of a following for the first year
Yeah.
of doing
Doing
that.
it.
But I
Hmm.
had to keep doing the reps, keep putting in the work, stay consistent with it, and the payoff comes. There's no People do that, the payoff does happen no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like building a bicep. You do a bunch of reps, eventually you're going to have a bicep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that's the thing that goes unseen, especially for people aspiring in entrepreneurship and they're feeling the exhaustion and the drain from it, because you have to stay consistent. And that's where making sure your self-care is priority is so important. My mornings are my sacred time. It's
Yeah.
when I listen to the things I want to listen to. It's when I exercise. It's when I get really honed in and focused and not check my emails and all of that. And then I start my day.
Yep.
And that's the thing that keeps me sane, I feel like, a
Hmm.
lot of times. Um, so yeah, the doing something, trusting yourself, showing up courageously to do the hard things, and then staying consistent.
Yeah. So speaking of your mornings, how do you balance the demands of running a business with your personal life? So you have your morning time,
Hmm.
but what else do you do so that you're not constantly on?
Sure. Yeah. Well, the morning routine is key for
Hmm.
me. And in order to have a good morning routine, that means I have to take care of my nightly routine.
Hmm.
So, you know, I've been able to have people help me get more organized. Like I have someone who helped me with my social media now, and I have an
Yeah.
admin to help with clients and payment and things like that, trying to automate more things so that I can just focus on doing what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And that has helped a ton to be able to delegate things out. And, with all of that, I mean, everything goes on my calendar.
Hmm.
And you know, when I need to schedule in my breaks, I put that on my calendar. And when I'm
Yeah.
scheduling in, like, after 7 o'clock, I am not going to my email or anything. It's trying to honor that. um, and there is, I think the work life balance is a little bit of a myth, because there's
Hmm.
sometimes when I gotta really crush it over the weekend and do work
Yeah.
stuff, especially
Yeah.
when I'm doing an app and all these other things. Um, but then I know that when it slows down or when I have an opportunity to, I'm going to take some extra time off later.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so instead of putting the pressure on myself of, oh, I need to make sure that I'm having this work life balance. And sometimes there's going to be really tough seasons where you power through,
Yeah.
just as long as you know that you're taking care of yourself in the process. And it's not always going to be that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So the final question I ask all guests is, what's one thing you wish you knew when you started your entrepreneurial journey?
It's a great question. One thing I wish I knew. Hmm. I think one thing that I wish I knew looking back. There's a couple things running through my mind right now. I wish I knew that I didn't need to worry as much as I did. I think
Hmm.
worrying provides just enough. I mean, it's good in the sense of, like, you think you're preparing and you think that is helping you in some way. Um, but really it creates so much more stress, and I wish I knew that I was more capable than I thought I was at the
Yeah.
time. I think my own insecurities in the process led to a lot of unhealthy habits. It led to a lot of um, anxiety and lack of sleep the and sickness even,
Yeah.
all because of this internal fear of not being good enough to do what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And so I wish I had started believing in myself long ago, like I do
Hmm.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great advice. So, Mandy, where can people find you if they want to reach out about the app, about your services, you in general? Where should they go?
Yeah, so the easiest spot is to go to my website, mandyemorris.com. That
Awesome.
has my social media handles. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Instagram is therapist_Mandy. I also have the link to my app on my website, or you can go to getsofree.com.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Well, and thank you for joining me today. Thanks for
Thank you,
sharing your
Courtney.
story. You have such a unique one. I feel like I say that to everyone, but everyone is so unique in what they offer.
Yeah.
And I love that you've had this career that you're now willing to jump into something completely new. You've
Mhm.
never developed the app, but you have the people around you to help make this
That's
happen.
right.
And it will be such a service. So
Thank
keep
you.
me posted. I'd love to
I
help share
will.
out when it's available for the general public to access and use and beta test for you. So let me know. I'm happy to share it
I
out, and
will.
thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for the wonderful questions and for being such a gift in what you do with your podcast. So keep it up.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Entrepreneur's Blueprint. I hope you found inspiration and insights to fuel your entrepreneurial journey. If you're looking for support in building or scaling your business profitably, visit my website or send me an email to learn more about how I help mission-driven businesses become more profitable, proactive, and efficient. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really helps other entrepreneurs discover the show, and it would mean so much to me as well. Until next time, keep building, keep dreaming, and keep going.